enhanced it further by painting a couple pictures. And what I thought I'd do is share this particular strategy with you. But before I do that, what I thought I'd do is just get, my finger on the pulse of where you folks are with your mortgage coach knowledge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to launch a quick poll. It's going to take just a few moments for you to respond. So the quicker that you respond, the faster we can go ahead and proceed and get going with, all the different strategies that I can share with you. But also it's really going to help me to understand with where you're at with your mortgage coach knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this real quick. So if you could quickly respond to the poll, that would be a big help here. So I've just launched that. The first question is regards to, where are you with your mortgage coach knowledge? How many total cost analysis presentations have you built? And the way that we monitor that or track that, I guess, if you will, is to see where you're at with your belt level. We kind of gamified mortgage coach. So it correlates with, becoming a black belt in giving mortgage coach advice. And, if you built 20 or less total cost analysis presentations, you're going to be under a white belt. And then from there, orange belts, 20 to 49. Looks like we just have a blue belt, 50 to 75. That's awesome. And, part of mortgage coach is just like in your career, you're always going to learn. You're always going to be continuing to learn. You always want to keep, improving your game so that you become more successful and you're able to convert more effectively and be able to work faster. So you're increasing your, if you will, your personal production speed limit. You're going from, being able to chug along at 55 miles an hour to bumping that up to 70 or so. So working smarter, not harder. Okay, perfect. So I've got a feeling a lot of folks are white belts. Okay. The types of presentation that you would like to see, it looks like many of you are asking for the refinance presentation, which is great. Okay. And then we got some mix in there, MI options, rent versus owns. So I'm going to try and cover as many of these as I possibly can. But I think, using this, this particular presentation to kind of tee it up, if you will, so that you can see the value of mortgage coach and the type of conversations that you can have. So if you haven't watched this call yet, or if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, highly encourage you to do so. And I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to take the link to this particular call because I think it's so important for everybody to watch. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it into the chat area for you folks. So let me go ahead and do that now. And this will be available for you. So go ahead and click on that link. You don't have to watch it like the second, of course. But just go ahead and click on it so that you can watch it when the time is appropriate. It's 10 minutes and 26 seconds. And in that 10 minutes and 26 seconds, you're going to get so much value. If you take and you execute this particular strategy, it will definitely, help you and your realtor partners. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the exact presentation that Amber's going to do a much better job because it's her scenario. And working with her particular borrower, and she's going to do a much better job in telling the story. But I want to kind of drill down and show the main talking points and how you can have conversations with your borrowers. And there's a lot of additional information that you can get once you subscribe to our YouTube channel by just clicking on the it'll say more information in here, and you're going to be able to get a greater breakdown of all this information. So if you haven't subscribed yet to the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, you're really missing out. And highly recommend that you do so as quickly as possible. I also recommend, if you've got a Facebook page, highly recommend that you subscribe to our request to join our Mortgage Coach Mastermind Facebook group. It is by invitation. So once you jump in there, it's a private group of dedicated mortgage professionals sharing. We just went over 10,000 members. So a big group. But people are in there and they're sharing a lot of content. They're asking questions, just a lot of value in there. So if you haven't done it yet, those would be two resources that I recommend that you take advantage of. So with that, let's dive into the presentation that Amber shared with the community and how it's helping her be more successful in her business. She closed 45 loans last month, and what she's doing is she's being very strategic in managing her time. One of the things that she talks about is that she is doing purchase transactions during the day. And then she's using Mortgage Coach to do refinance transactions in the evening, and including a video with the presentation so that the borrower, the client, still gets that personal touch from her without actually having to get on the phone with her. So being very smart how, you know, you're maximizing the opportunity that you have in the environment that you're in. I mean, it's crazy right now. You guys can work 24 hours a day if you wanted to, but you want to work smarter, not harder, and making sure that you're maximizing the opportunity that you have. So with that, let me go ahead and share this particular presentation. At the very top of the presentation, with each Mortgage Coach presentation, of course, you're going to have your personal branding appearing on the presentation, as well as your company branding appearing on the presentation. Starting off here, if you take a look, what she did is she painted the picture for the borrower what their current situation looks like. So if you're doing a refinance presentation, you always want to be able to show the borrower their current situation versus any options that you're going to be presenting to them. So here's this particular borrower's current situation. They own a home that's valued in the current market at $436,000. They've currently got an interest rate at 4 5/8, 4.625%. Their current all-in monthly payments, $2,254.62. And they've been in that loan now for, it looks like, about a year and a half. Now, if they were to go ahead and refinance and take advantage of the current interest rates that were available, I know that there's been a hit recently, so that, I mean, these now may be slightly higher, but still a lot of benefit in this particular case. They could potentially save $322.10. You know, a great refinance opportunity. But what Amber did, and this is what I would encourage you folks to do when you're interviewing your clients, how does your home, your current home, fit your lifestyle now? How does your current home fit your current lifestyle now? And what a lot of people are finding out based upon, you know, the current environment, you know, you might have two people that are now working from home and competing for office space. And they're realizing, it might be you folks for that matter. You might be, you know, originating loans from home, and you've got, you know, a spouse, significant other working from home that is, you know, doing their job as well. And you're competing for space. And you're realizing that this house may not be, you know, the home that you need. So what she's doing is incorporating that, asking those questions. You know, how is your home fitting your current lifestyle right now? Would you like to potentially, you know, have another bedroom, have another bathroom, a larger house, a home in a different school district, a home with a swimming pool in the backyard, a new home versus the old home that's, you know, constantly needing repairs? Whatever the case is, there's so many different scenarios, but you don't get that information unless you ask that question. So what she did is she pointed out to the borrower or the potential refinance candidate that, you know what, you could actually move up if you wanted to, because you've got so much equity in your home, and certainly lower your interest rate. And in doing so, you could purchase a home that's, you know, almost $100,000 more in value, put as little as 5% down, and you're going to be able to, you know, pocket, because this particular borrower has, you can see the amount of equity that they have in their home. Current loan amount's 341, property value's 436. So they have about $100,000, very close to it in equity. And if they only put maybe a third of that down, yes, their monthly payment would go up, but they still have the potential to put that money into some type of an investment account, something that they could, you know, have for a rainy day fund, or you know, saving for something completely different. Or if you take a look at this particular example, they could potentially go ahead and put all the proceeds from the sale of their existing home down, purchase the home for $525,000, and actually end up saving money from their monthly payment in comparison to what they're paying at the moment. So this is a move up presentation, along with of course, putting together the refinance option that they initially asked for. So you're giving them what they want initially. They wanted information about a refinance, but now you're painting a bigger picture as to how they can change their life based upon potentially moving up. And this is one of the pictures that I really like right here, is that if you take a look here, down here in the bottom, this is the long-term analysis, and it's showing net worth in 15 years. And if you take a look, if they put that money into an investment account, along with the property appreciation that they get from the purchase of the new home, look at their net worth position. It's significantly greater than where right now if they don't do anything. So by using Mortgage Coach, you're creating a picture that your borrower may not have considered. They reached out to you for a refinance. They're being bombarded with information about record high or record low interest rates, opportunity to take advantage of it. But now they're seeing a completely different picture. And the value for you as a mortgage professional is you've taken the competition that you might be speaking to and completely put them to the side, because you're creating a wow moment with the client. You're creating what we call a star moment with the client. You might want to write that down, star moment. And as many of those star moments that you can create with your borrower, it's going to help you separate yourself from your competition. A star moment is showing them something that they will always remember you by. So again, that will help you separate yourself from your competition and show your clients something that they just, they might not have considered. Now, the other way that this particular strategy is so valuable is that, think of your realtor partners, okay? Yes, you're having conversations with your clients. You're having conversations with your clients and putting together potential refinance opportunities for them. But think about if you also shared this presentation with your realtor partners in a one-off situation, or perhaps maybe getting in front of them in a lunch and learn. So what you're doing is you're planting the seed in your realtor partners' minds that, you could potentially help them with their database to identify clients that are in their database that are now ready for some type of a lifestyle change. The best particular clients that they could potentially help you with would be, somebody that's been in the house 4 or 5 years, because now they've gotten some equities. They've gotten property appreciation. They may have an interest rate that is higher than the current market conditions, especially for purchase transactions. And 4 or 5 years in the house, they may very well be ready for a lifestyle change because, something's happened. They've had a life event, another child, the need, they're, like I said, they're working from home now and they need a bigger house than that first time home buyer purchase that they did with that 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom house. So your realtors are going to benefit because it's helping them increase inventory. We're hearing that many of you are working in environments where you're originating loans that inventory is just shrunk tremendously, especially for those entry-level buyer properties. It's just crazy with multiple offers and so forth that are going on with that. So this is a way that you can help your realtor partner generate inventory. They have the opportunity to get 2 commissions, right? So that's huge motivation for them, because in order for this particular buyer to be able to move up, they've got to sell their existing home. That's 1 commission for the realtor. Secondly, they're going to be purchasing that move-up property. So there's 2 commissions. So that's the opportunity when you're sharing this content with your realtor partners, the motivation for them to allow you access to their database. So any questions about that? Does that make sense? I mean, can you see how that could potentially help you? Is that a fit for your environment that you're in right now? Kind of curious. Any feedback that you folks could provide in the chat area is helpful. Okay, and at this point, let's see here. Let's see, Ramiro, you raised your hand. I don't know if you had something that you wanted to share, or if that was just a mistake. But folks, if you want to, anytime that we're going along here, if you want to type something in the chat area or the QA area, I am looking over. I have 2 monitors, and I am monitoring those. So if questions arise, please go ahead. I'm sorry, Todd. Yes, I am moving a little bit fast. Now remember, this is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. So the value of the video on the YouTube channel is that you can stop, rewind, and go over it as many times as you need to get the content that you're looking for. And as I said, I mean, that call that I placed in there for you folks, you're going to hear from Amber's words, specifically how she helped this particular client. So highly encourage you to watch that call that I put in the chat area. The link is there for you in the chat area. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple additional options for ways that you can have conversations with your refinance clients. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to show you how to utilize a feature that you have available to you within Mortgage Coach. It's live. It's called live reporting. Is anybody familiar with that on the call? I know we had a blue belt on the call, and they may very well be familiar with live reporting. But is anybody working with your clients now? Are you meeting with your clients in a format, a web-based format like Zoom, like we're doing for this webinar, or GoToMeeting, or WebEx? Is anybody meeting with your clients? Go ahead and raise your hand. I'm curious if you are. HUD has mentioned Zoom. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the feature that I'm going to show you now, along with using some web-based format, I mean, it's a very powerful 1-2 punch for meeting with your clients, because it really helps create clarity with them, and it gives you the ability to present loan options to them in a way that's you're going to use technology, and I mean, your competition, when they send over a fee worksheet or an Excel spreadsheet or some long email to somebody that you're competing for business to, this will completely blow them away. So I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the link to this particular presentation, and I'm going to put it in the chat area. So I want you folks to have the borrower experience for this particular presentation so that you can see the value of using Mortgage Coach and how it can help you present. So you don't have to use a web-based format. I'm just saying that it is a very powerful 1-2 punch when you can. You could use, something as simple as a call with all the decision makers. So maybe a conference call, making sure that you got all the decision makers on the call with you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the link to this particular presentation. I'm going to put it in the chat area for you folks. So it's going to serve 2 purposes. First off, the first purpose is that it's going to allow you to have the borrower's experience so that you can see, because there's many of you that are white belts on the call, how you can use Mortgage Coach to connect with your clients in a more meaningful way, and how each of your borrowers, each of your clients really deserve to have this experience with you. And when you get good at it, it will help you with your conversion. Your conversion will go up with your clients. So my ask of you, so that you can get all of that information, so that you can get the value of it from seeing it from the borrower's perspective, is the link is now in the chat area. If you click on that link, you're going to get to see how I'm able to interact with the client. You're going to be my borrower. And then you're also going to have this presentation, because if you like what you see, I won't delete the link, and you could copy the presentation for your own Mortgage Coach account. So I'm going to give you folks a moment to click on that link that I provided in the chat area, and I'm able to see how many of you are following instructions. If you look up here in the top right-hand corner, see where it says Views 1. So as the mortgage professional, when you share that link that I've just placed in the chat area with your clients, once they click on that link, you're going to be able to tell when you've got the presentation up here. So I know how many people are in the workshop, and I know how many people have followed the instructions that I provided so far, and only one person has done that. So I need to get more of you to click on that link before I can go ahead and proceed. So the quicker you do it, the faster we can go ahead and proceed with our workshop. So I'm going to give you folks a moment to do that. Again, it's in the chat area. And the other thing that I'm going to do here for you folks is share with you, when your borrower clicks on that link, what it will do is it will trigger an alert notification to be delivered to you. Here is the alert notification that was just triggered by 2 of you that have clicked on that link. Now 3 of you. So whenever somebody clicks on your link that you provided them, it will send you an alert notification. And if you needed to speak to that client, maybe you're having a hard time reaching that client, and that alert notification just pops up for you. And if you've downloaded the Mortgage Coach app to your mobile device, you'll get the alert notification appearing on your phone as well. If you're having difficulty reaching that client, once you get that alert notification, you could reach out to that borrower and most likely have more success in reaching them. And they may still be viewing the presentation that you provided them. So this is going to help you connect with your clients by getting those alert notifications. And then as you get them, your sense of urgency will be dictated by where they're at in the loan process. If you're trying to connect with them and you haven't got them in your pipeline yet, you probably have a higher sense of urgency in reaching that client. Whereas I'm not saying that you're ignoring them once you've got them in your pipeline, but your sense of urgency probably gets, smaller. Okay. Another tip that I would like to share with you is that when you go to send the presentation to your client, I would recommend personalizing it. So you could, just like I did with you, you could share the dynamic hyperlink by utilizing that method, either sending it to them via text by using the mobile app or by sending it to them via email. So you can send them the hyperlink just like that. Or let's say that I'm working with the Smith family and I can personalize it this way by typing in something that might be a little bit more meaningful. And using Outlook here, you can see what I'm doing is I've typed the verbiage that I want them to click on. I'm highlighting the verbiage that I want them to click on. And I'm taking that and turning it into a hyperlink by using these particular steps. I place the address to that hyperlink right there. Click OK. Now my borrower would not need to click on this. They would click on something that is more personalized to them. So just an extra touch so that you increase and get a bigger return on the time that you've taken to send that borrower a Mortgage Coach presentation. So just a tip for you to utilize. Okay. All right. Oops, and I didn't end the poll. Sorry about that. I'm going to end that poll. There we go. And I do have it up here so that I can keep myself on point as to the strategies that you want to see most. Okay, so thank you to those 5 of you that have clicked on the link for you. And like I said, you're going to get the benefit of seeing my next step here. So what I'm going to do is, and strategically, what you may want to do is send your borrower the Mortgage Coach presentation just prior to either getting them on the phone or opening up the webinar that you're going to have with them. The reason being is that you want to be on the phone with them or being able to see them or in the webinar with them so that you're able to get their feedback at exactly the same time that you're walking them through the loan options that you're presenting to them. That feedback is very valuable for you, not only what you're hearing them say, but how they're saying it. That's how you help your conversion. Because if you need to make adjustments on the fly with your presentation, you absolutely have the ability to do so. So let me show you, let me illustrate this. And again, this is what we call live reporting. So you send the link to the borrower, And then you as the mortgage professional would come over here and click on this button in the Mortgage Coach Advice Engine where it says preview and highlight. When you click on that, what that's going to do is it's going to bring up the preview of the presentation. This is the loan officer view, because I mentioned you're able to see how many people are actually viewing the presentation by looking up there in the top right-hand corner. The borrower's view, they will not see that. The borrower's view is different. The borrower's view also triggers the alert notification. When you click on the preview, it will not trigger an alert notification going to you. So you can go ahead and begin the conversation, as an example, by clicking here on the current. I clicked on the product name. Once I've clicked on that product name, it's going to highlight all the details about their current loan, and it's highlighting in live time. So the 5 of you that have clicked on that link are now getting the borrower's experience and seeing how that is, how that's working. So I just want to make sure, with a show of hands, how many of you that clicked on that link are in fact seeing that highlight? You could show me with this show of hands. Awesome. Okay, perfect. Just wanted to make sure that that you folks are having that experience. Pretty cool, right? So this is what I meant by that you're using technology to wow your clients and put yourself on a completely different playing field. Picture yourself now competing against somebody that's sending the borrower a fee worksheet, okay? Emailing them an attachment or emailing them a spreadsheet. You're now able to connect with the borrower and walk them through the loan options that you think are the best fit for them while you've got them on the phone, hearing and listening for their feedback, okay? So I can get very granular and point out key details within their current loan, just confirming that I do have all the details correct. Monthly payment, current interest rate, and then how long they've been in the loan. You can see here they've been in the loan for 27 and a half years. So now I can go ahead and transition over to the refinance option that I have for them here. So you can see here we could reduce their interest rates by almost a full point. And that would produce a savings to for this particular scenario for the borrower to take advantage of. The savings amount would be $210.01. And they would reset the clock to 30 years. But if they need that cash flow, that's something that they may be willing to, forego to get the benefit of being able to have that increased cash flow. So what I've done now is I compared the borrower's current loan to a refinance option. Now, is there a way, in other words, would you stop now? Would you stop now and send the presentation to your client as it is right now? I mean, it's not a bad presentation, right? You're comparing how you can help them with their refinance in comparison to their current loan. Would that be sufficient? Would you send the presentation to them now like that? Todd has said no. Okay. Todd, why? I'm kind of curious. Why would you not? Okay. And Ramiro is saying maybe give them a rate buy down options. Leverage the savings. Okay. So Ramiro's thinking maybe give them the option to buy down the rate. And Todd is thinking, well, maybe show them how to utilize the savings that they're getting from the refinance. So again, either way, you're creating value for them, right? You're creating value for them that they're not going to get from somebody else that they're having a conversation with when they get that fee worksheet or that email, right? You guys are on a different playing field now, and you've got to make the most of that opportunity when you're on that higher playing field. Okay, so a couple things for you to take into consideration. And one of the things that, that we feel very strongly with here at Mortgage Coach is that there's 3 essentials for every borrower when they're making a mortgage decision. And one of them is that they have to have options. They have to have options for them to have an ownership interest in making the decision as to which loan is the best option for them. it's going to help them, and it's also going to help you. And let me show you how. Okay, so keep that in mind. 3 essentials of smart mortgage decisions. I'm going to take the link to that as well. And I'm going to give that to you. I'm going to put that in the chat area. And the reason that I want you to keep that is that when you're building your mortgage coach presentations, what I would like for you to consider is that, keep that handy. So when you're building a mortgage coach presentation, keep that in mind so that you can help that, help you structure and build your mortgage coach presentation, keeping that in mind of, how can I add more value to my mortgage coach presentation for my client. So let me go ahead and put this in the chat area for you here. Sorry, it's taking me a little bit meant to have it handy, and I didn't have it as handy as I thought, but here it comes. It's a link, and once again, you can click on it. Here you go. So keep that, and when you're building your mortgage coach presentations, keep that in mind. How can I use that to connect with my clients? Oh, one other thing before I show you another way that you can connect with your clients, I do want to show you a couple areas within the mortgage coach presentation. Okay, see this middle analysis area here where it says savings over 17 months. Anybody have an idea as to why I chose 17 months? How could you as a mortgage professional use this middle analysis area to have a conversation with your borrower? What is that showing? Savings over 17 months. Okay, how can you leverage that middle analysis area, the savings over 17 months, and what's the story that's telling? You hit it, Todd. Good job. The break-even point. So is anybody on the call with a show of hands? Do you ever have conversations with your borrowers about the break-even point? Okay. So I'm not saying that you have to, but this is another way that you can add value to the conversations that you're having with your clients. It's also a way that you could potentially eliminate your competition, because if you are competing against somebody and they're showing them, that really super low interest rate, but they're really not talking to the borrower about all the costs that are associated with getting that super low interest rate, that's where the break even comes into play. So you could actually put your competition's details in Mortgage Coach and use that as a way to educate the borrower that you too could put that together, but is it really going to benefit them based upon, it's going to take you 10 years before you even see the value of that. You know what I mean? So here, let me just real quickly show you the details here. And the way that I would do that, the way that you would have conversations with your borrower is by clicking on the more info button there. So what this is showing the client that is if they chose not to refinance and they maintain their existing loan, in the next 17 months, they're going to pay $19,357 in interest. Whereas if they refinance with you, you're going to be able to help them pay less interest in the amount of $15,611. And when they take that along with the closing cost into consideration, this is the time horizon that's going to take for them to go from the red to the green. They're now going to be positive at the 17th month by $86. So the break-even point will occur at 17 months. They'll go from in the red to being positive at $86 a month. So it's taken into account the amount of interest, both the interest that the borrower pays and the closing costs that are associated with being able to secure that transaction. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an additional option to the borrower, because sometimes you have to show the borrower a lower interest rate just for the purposes of illustrating to them that you too have the ability to provide them with a lower interest rate, and look at it as, is this going to make sense? How long do you see yourself being in the house? So what I'm going to do now is I'm coming into the advice engine. You could see my presentation. I call this like the sidebar over here, the way that you can quickly navigate to anywhere within the advice engine. And I'm seeing that I actually have to pull up the correct presentation first off. Better do that. Let me go ahead and call it up here. So I'm going to bring up another option here. Here we go. So going into the sidebar and using this as a way to quickly navigate, I'm going to come here, see where it says presentation. And when I come here, on this particular presentation I'm sharing with you, I actually have the borrower's current loan appearing with that first cash flow option, but I also have 3 additional options that I'm going to share with the client. So here's cash flow option 2. I've now highlighted that. And once I click next, it'll highlight on, or it'll become available for the borrower to view on their screen. And then now we can have a conversation with you. So you're talking with another lender and they're talking about putting together a loan for you at 2.875%, 3%. Great, we can absolutely provide that to you here as well. We have those rates available. Let's go ahead and walk through the numbers. And by the way, did they send you a Mortgage Coach total cost analysis like I am? What's the answer to that most likely going to be? When you ask your borrower, did your competition send you a Mortgage Coach presentation like I'm doing now? Have they walked you through the loan options that they have for you like I am now? Ramiro hit it on the nail on the head there. The answer to that is most likely going to be no. So again, you're on a higher playing field. Take advantage of every opportunity that you have when you're on the higher playing field. Show them the lower interest rate, that it's available. You can provide it to them. They don't have to shop. You can get it for them. And is it going to make sense? Now, in this case, based upon the costs that are associated, see how the break-even period now is no longer 17 months. It is for that first one, but when you take into account the additional costs that are associated, yes, they'll pay less interest, but there's significantly more costs. So it's going to take a longer period of time for them to achieve that break-even point. So again, keep that in mind with your competition, or if your borrower, maybe your borrower is going to be in the house for a long time. And this is, let's see, and I think I answered your question there, Todd, but take a look at this, this long-term analysis area right down here where it says net worth in 18 years. This is going to be more effective with one of my additional options that I'm going to present to the borrower in a moment, but I probably don't want to have a conversation with my borrower at this point about net worth, right? I probably want to have a conversation more about interest. So again, using my sidebar over here, see how I'm now going to go to the analysis area here. I'm going to go to the analysis area now, and I'm going to change, see where it says long-term chart type? It says total net worth. I want to paint the picture of interest and MI paid. In this case, there's no MI, but interest paid. And I know, and see this, well, I'll get into this in a second. They currently have about 28 years on their existing loan, right? 28 years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the long-term analysis to 28 years. Actually, I'll go 30 because they will be resetting the clock if they refinance on either of those options. So check this out now. Come to the presentation. Again, this is what you could share with your client. See how it updated? So if I'm on the phone with the borrower and if I want to make this a topic of conversation, I've just made that adjustment on the fly with the borrower, and then I can go ahead and begin highlighting. So right now, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, yes, you have 27 and a half years remaining on the life loan. In that 27 and a half years, you're going to pay almost $228,000 in interest, $228,000 in interest that you're going to have to pay on your existing loan. Now, if you refinance the first lower cost option, that's going to give you the opportunity to save, what is that, $32,000 in interest. The other opportunity that you have, if you want to invest and pay some prepaid interests initially to get a bigger savings over the life of the loan, well, that will create a savings opportunity to you over the life of the loan. What is that? $50,000. So they make an initial investment of whatever the cost is, and over the life of the loan, what is that going to yield? So this is another way that you can utilize these analysis areas to paint the bigger picture with your client, along with the highlighting detail while we've actually got them on the phone. Now, once you start having conversations with your borrower about these details over here, what have you transitioned the conversation away from? What are you, as a mortgage professional now, achieved as far as what's the topic of the conversation? Have you been able to transition the conversation now away from what's your rate, what's your fees? I've got to get you off the phone as quickly as I can because I've got 3 other lenders that I have to speak with. You've transitioned. I mean, rates and fees are things that you absolutely have to have a conversation with. But when you start painting the bigger picture here, your borrower's focus is now on, something that's most likely, we feel, more important. Rates and fees are definitely a component of all of this, but now you're showing them a much bigger picture. So make sure that you're utilizing and asking your borrowers, how long do they see themselves in the house? Or how long would they like, or how old would they like to be when they've got the house paid off, which is my next product option here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and again go into the advice engine, and I'm going to take away option 2, and I'm going to show here same payment. So I put color here. I'm going to click next, and then now I can have a borrower or a conversation with my borrower. Rather than rate options, maybe they've shared with me that that cash flow option, the first one is probably beneficial. I don't want to pay a lot of points. So now what they can do is you have the ability to show them that by maintaining the exact same payment that they're currently making right now. You can see here's the payment on their current loan. It's exactly the same here and at the lower interest rate. So what they're going to do is they're going to refinance. And now you're showing them that by making or taking that savings and applying it towards principal reduction, what is that going to do for them? Well, you can see that it will take their 27.5-year mortgage and reduce it down to a little over 24 years. And then this is the home run over here, what I consider the home run. Look how much interest that's going to save them. By just making that same payment, it'll accelerate how quickly they're able to get debt-free on the mortgage, along with saving them a tremendous amount of interest over the life of the loan. So again, utilizing these areas to paint that picture with your client, very, very important for you. Okay. So showing them how much interest that they can save by maintaining that same payment. Is there anybody in the workshop today, on the webinar today, that is currently working with financial advisors or would like to start working with financial advisors and would like to utilize Mortgage Coach to potentially open that door to those financial advisors? So you'd be able to start getting referral business from financial advisors or refer clients that you have to financial advisors, of course, with the benefit of the expectation that, I'm going to be referring clients to you. I hope you're going to, whatever verbiage you want to say, be receiving referrals from you. Okay, so this is going to be my next product option here. So what I'm going to do is in the presentation here, I'm going to remove the same payment option, and you can see I've got a product option labeled investment. So I'm going to click on that, move over. So now the borrower is going to see cash flow along with the investment option. It just popped up here. So here again, if the borrower is going to have a savings and it's not a savings that they actually need to pay off other things, that they actually can utilize in a way that can help them earn interest rather than pay interest, or get out of debt more quickly, like I showed you before, pay down the mortgage more quickly. Here you're painting the picture for the client as to how they could take that savings and put it into an investment account. And this is where the financial advisor comes into play. So again, asking the appropriate questions of your borrower. So maybe you're interviewing your client and you could see that you could help them save. You know, I'm going to work with you and I'm going to try and save you the most amount of money as we possibly can. But what are you going to be doing with the savings? How are you going to be using that savings? And then you listen to the feedback they provide you. Well, you know, I would like to go ahead. I've been talking to my financial advisor and I'm thinking about retirement in 20 years. I'm trying to plan for a college education. I've got a child that's 13 years away from college. Whatever the life event is that they may share with you that they are trying to save or utilize that savings for, you can now use Mortgage Coach to paint that picture along with the advice of the financial advisor professional. So once again, using the long-term analysis area, see where it says interest in 30 years? Is that the picture that you want to paint for your client? You want to show them interest in 30 years? Most likely not, right? You want to have a conversation not only that's applicable to the time horizon that they've shared with you, but you want to show them their net worth position. So now I'm going to go back into the advice engine. And once again, I'm going to come here into the analysis area. And I'm going to change the chart type. So I'm going to change this back to net worth. And then I'm also going to change the analysis time. Let's say I'm speaking with a borrower and they're planning for retirement in 20 years. So I've made those adjustments. And then the other thing that you're going to do, and this is where I guess you could say all the magic happens. See the button right here which says adjust reinvestment strategy? Did anybody know that was there? I'm curious. Does anybody know that that button was there? Has anybody used that button yet? Raise your hand if you knew that that button was there. Okay, this is new to everybody on the call. Okay, which is good. That's your purpose in coming to a workshop like this, right? This is where you get the value. So I'm going to go ahead and click adjust reinvestment strategy. And this is going to open up a whole nother window. And this is where you make the magic happen, if you will. So if you take a look right here, see where it says current. This is, you've entered the details. You successfully been able to reproduce the borrower's current situation. Here's the second option, or here's the first option rather, the first cash flow option. And you can see that savings figure that I've been referring to. Now here's the same payment option. What I've done is I've taken that savings and put it into this box right here. And you can see right here it says reduction payment. So I've taken the savings of 210.01, put it here, and what that has done is it has shortened the borrower's freedom point from 27.58 to 24.17. Folks, for doing purchase transactions as well, this is a great way to show the borrower what an extra $50 towards the monthly mortgage payment could do. So not only use it for refinances, but also use it for purchases. Purchases, not only will it show how it decreases the freedom point, but right here, see where it says MI cutoff? By making additional payment towards principal reduction, what is that going to do for the borrower? It's going to help them build equity more quickly, which can reduce the time that they're actually going to have to pay that mortgage insurance. So when you're speaking with a borrower and they just hate having that mortgage insurance, if it's a conventional loan, you can show them what additional payments towards principal reduction will do to help accelerate getting out of what they don't like. Again, adding value for you as the mortgage professional, eliminating your competition. Okay. Here is the investment option. And of course, there's the cash flow option too that I shared with you earlier. But in this investment, we're not going to be entering any details here. You have to scroll down a little bit lower. See where I'm at right down here? So with the investment option, the borrower is going to save $183.94 on a monthly basis. This is the key figure right here. At what rate of return would they be putting that monthly savings, making that payment into the savings account? And in this case, I put 6%. Some of you are going to be saying, oh, that's too high. Others of you are going to be saying that's too low. That's where, if you can, get the advice of the financial advisor. If the borrower has a financial advisor, if they're already had that conversation with them, ask to speak to the financial advisor. Can I have a conversation with your financial advisor, because I want to make sure that I'm providing you with accurate information on the presentation that I'm going to provide you with. Would you mind letting your financial advisor know that I will be giving them a call? So now that borrower, that client has opened the door to their financial advisor so that you can form a relationship and hopefully additional relationships. Or if they don't have somebody, you can refer that client to maybe somebody that you have on your wealth team. Wealth team, you want to make sure, of course, you have your realtors, insurance agents, CPAs, financial advisors, so that you're referring clients to them and getting that flow of referrals from them as well. Attorneys also, I forgot to put attorneys in there. So here you go, 6% in there. So what is that going to do? Well, over a time horizon of 20 years, that will help the borrower achieve almost $85,000 in that account. And if they wanted to, they don't have to, maybe they want to maintain that liquidity, but if they wanted to, by putting color here, you can help them pay off the mortgage more quickly as well. So once I put color in here, watch how it adjusts this figure. So it will show, by taking the proceeds that they've put into that investment account, how long it's going to take. So it would actually take about 23 years with that asset accumulating at that particular rate, with that amount of money going in there. But now you're giving the borrower a choice. Do you want to use the proceeds to pay off the loan, or do you want to go ahead and use it for some other aspects that are going to benefit your life? But there you go. I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you what that looks like on the borrower screen now. So you'll notice that the bar graph has two colors. The green color is representing the borrower's equity position from property appreciation. The gold is representing the asset accumulation during that time horizon. And the borrower can click here as well and get more details. So here is the property appreciation. That's assuming a 4% appreciation rate. This is where their loan balance would be at 20 years. So when you take into account, when you subtract their loan balance from the value of their home, and then add back the value of their asset that's been accumulating in that investment account, this is how they achieve that net worth of almost $920,000. But folks, what I really want to instill in you is that Mortgage Coach can open up a whole new window to the types of conversations that you have with your clients and help the borrower understand how you as a mortgage professional are not somebody that's just quoting rate and fees. You're somebody that is putting together a plan, a mortgage plan that will help them secure the goals that they have. You're not somebody that's just sending over a fee worksheet or an email or having a quick conversation. You're not putting your borrower, when you're providing options like this, you're not putting the borrower, think about it this way. Let me go ahead and remove that option. Think about it this way. If you provide the borrower with a Mortgage Coach presentation that looks like this, or a fee worksheet, or a Excel spreadsheet, you provide the borrower a single option. And you put yourself in a very, kind of dangerous position, because they can only respond to you in one of two ways. Yes, the answer that you're hoping for, that they like your rate, they like your payment, they like you, like the way that they spoke, you you worked with them so far, or no, because they're going to shock you and they're going to speak with other lenders. They've already spoken with other lenders. That single option that you presented them with puts them in a position where they can respond with only yes or no. So that's why it's so important that you provide them with additional options that allows you to have conversations with them that helps them see where they're going, Okay. Let's see here. HUD had a question here. Fannie Mae Freddie loan lookup. That tool was very important when you're able to use the HARP program, and I don't even know if that's still available, but you know, it'd look up their loan and you'd be able to see if they're HARP eligible, you know, to be able to do a refi like that. So there's some stuff in there that, you know, it's a good question to ask, and maybe you're curious, but you know, you may not even be using that at this point. All right. Wow. I guess, you know, time flies as you're having fun here. We're already at 2 after the hour. We've been a full hour. Just a couple other quick things. I'm going to go through this real quickly for you folks. Whenever you're working with a refinance presentation, ask the borrower for a mortgage statement up front, because it's really going to help you as a mortgage professional capture all these details so that you can do the side-by-side comparison. If you know a couple of the details when you're building the mortgage coach presentation, you can always back into a couple of these figures, because this is just basically a mortgage calculator. Whatever you put in will generate the borrower's PI payment. So you can make adjustments to narrow it down to match what they're telling you if they haven't provided you with all of the details. The other thing that I'd recommend when you're doing a refi is that if you're utilizing fee templates or if you're using the bulk fee method, always make sure that you're on the same page with your borrowers and meeting their expectations as to, are they going to be paying the closing costs out of pocket, or do they want them in the loan? If they want them in the loan, there's a button right here that makes it real easy. You put add all fees to loan amount, and it does the calculations and increases your loan amount accordingly, so that the borrower is going to come out of pocket zero, or if they want to pay for the costs, or if they're going to get a credit for you to cover the costs. Just make sure you're using those when you're dealing with refinance presentations. All right, guys, I know I've kept you longer than that, but I hope that you enjoyed the workshop. And more importantly, I hope I painted the picture to you folks. You're making an investment in Mortgage Coach. Use it to help you. Like I said, put yourself on a different playing field from your competition. Help yourself convert at a higher level and be more successful. All right, guys, have a great week. Thanks so much.